Well, hey, it's good to see you again. My name is Jaded Ben, and welcome back to another episode of Bootleg Breakdown, where we talk about all the unofficial releases and bootlegs and counterfeits in my collection, and what makes them all so darn special. It's been about a year. Welcome back. Hope you guys are doing well. Just going to bring this series back. We got a bunch of new records to talk about, a bunch of cool stuff, but first we're going to start with what is playing in my tape deck just over here today, and that is going to be the compilation from Ozone entitled Hardcore from Fort Worth, Texas. First released in 2022 on Core Eruption Records, later reissued in 2023 by my friends in Circle 23 Productions here in Austin, Texas. I had the pleasure of catching these guys not too long ago, opening for Big Boy and Paradise at Brushy Street Commons. I've got the full set up on the channel right now, so I'll link to that down in the description. Go and check these guys out. But there's some awesome tracks on here, such as I'll Be Fine, Killing Me, Nothing New, and One of Us. Highly recommend going and checking this out. I'm going to leave a link to it right down in the description below. Go and check it out. Alright, so we're back for another episode of Bootleg Breakdown. So I've got 5 awesome releases for you guys to check out that are not official, but hey, some cool stuff nonetheless. We're going to continue sort of in that tape vein, especially from the first record, but this is a nice little compilation from Immolation. This is Stepping on Angels Before Dawn, first released in 1995 on Repulse Records, later reissued unofficially by Boot Thrower Tapes. This features the first Rigor Mortis demo, as well as the first 2 Immolation demos that were recorded from, I believe, 1987 to 1989. So just a generally all-round cool production. Some nice little like frosted shell on this guy. The full production on this actually looks really, really cool. Let's get these really nice like old school retro tapes that are professionally printed. You got some of the artwork for both of those demos on the inside there, as well as a little bit of a track listing that'll tell you what songs are from what era of what part of the band and whatnot. The quality on this guy is actually pretty solid, all things considered. Boot Thrower Tapes has only been around very, very recently, and I haven't seen very many of their bootlegs go out, but I have a suspicion I would like to try to track down more of these guys in the very, very near future. I love Immolation. I especially love this sort of early era of Immolation, so as soon as I was able to find a copy from, I believe it was Dissonant Tapes I purchased this from, I knew this was a no-brainer to have in my collection. I know there's official CD pressings. I think there's an official tape pressing. Again, I'll put it on screen here if I'm wrong, but I would like to actually track down an official copy of this at some point. But in the meantime, I think this is just going to have to hold me over. This is a very, very cool piece of the collection. I'm slowly working at trying to get all of the Immolation stuff on both tape, vinyl, and a few other formats. So this is a good place to start, all things considered. Immolation, Stepping on Angels Before Dawn. This episode's going to be very demo-heavy, but we're going to continue with a band that I absolutely love to death. Actually, matter of fact, we got 2 things of theirs. We're going to start with this first one here. A very, very old release of theirs that did sort of get like a very nice reissue done by a label known as Megatherion Records. I'm talking about Dying Fetus with Infatuation with Malevolence, released in 1994, originally independently. It's been released in various forms and compilations, but this is just the straight demo. It was really reissued in 2024 on Megatherion Records. As far as I'm aware, I know some people were saying that this wasn't the original Megatherion Records. I don't know exactly the validity of that. I know there was some kind of like back and forth between actually what label produced this and where this was produced. I believe it is out of Brazil, to the best of my knowledge. This is Dying Fetus, and basically just their absolute early, disgusting infancy. Some songs on here would actually go to make the first record, such as Eviscerated Offspring and Your Blood Is My Wine. This also has In the Weak Shall Be Crushed and Purge of My Worldly Being, some very old school deep cuts from this particular band. Some of these tracks, again, would go on to make other stuff in the future. They would do a compilation featuring some of this material as well as some more later on Relapse Records and a few other labels, and believe their particular label, Blunt Force Records, also put out that compilation. Once again, not entirely sure I'll put on screen here in case I'm dead wrong, but this was a cool reissue nonetheless. I mean, it's got all of the track listing and everything, the old school first cover. Got a cool 5-panel J card with a bunch of the lyrics as well as the credits on the inside. And the tape is this clear shell with green text on it. I don't believe there's a limitation specified on this guy in particular. The quality on this is actually pretty dang solid. So about this particular release, I actually do own the official vinyl version that was later reissued after this one. So this was just kind of like, hey, I really want an old cover, I want a tape. I would like to get the original first press of this and actually compare the two and see what it's about, but I can at least say with certainty that the quality on this is pretty darn solid. I bet if I had to take a stab at it, I would say they probably pulled it from the digital remaster that Relapse did in 2011. But I could, again, very well be wrong on that. Again, I don't own an original copy, but it's a really cool release to check out nonetheless. Dying Fetus, Infatuation with Malevolence. So following the release of Dying Fetus' Infatuation with Malevolence, the band would go on to release their first record, which too had a massive amount of success for them. It would be reissued many, many times. That's not a very hard record to find, but the band's second record is actually surprisingly hard to find. And the only copy of it I have on vinyl is a bootleg. I'm talking about Killing on Adrenaline, released in 1998 on Morbid Records, later unofficially reissued by Bass Records production out of Spain in 2021, to the best of my knowledge. I picked this up in 2022 from a friend on Discogs, who actually ended up sending me the copy that I have here, as well as a copy that, hey, I was like, I didn't order this, like, you know, hey, can you send me the thing that I did order, because I paid a little bit of a premium for it. This record is very, very hard to come by. I know it was reissued once again, but I don't believe that is an official press either. I know there was a 2007 Night of the Vinyl Dead pressing on Splatter Vinyl. I'll put a picture of that on screen. And there's also the Black 2011 Relapse issue, which I will also put on screen here. Relapse has not touched this record in the better part of about 15 years, so unfortunately, I feel like this was kind of the only way to really go for it. Inside it comes with the album poster, very nice looking little poster. And the jacket on this one is actually very strange because it is this kind of like wallet fold thing. So this is actually just the full jacket. So here's the front cover, here's the back cover, and then on the inside it has all of the lyrics and the credits. I will say it is a little blurry in places. You can probably tell by some of this text right here that it does look pulled from online and probably has been stretched out a little bit. I could very well be incorrect on this, but you can definitely tell it's not not like professionally designed and whatnot. It definitely seems like only a handful of people put this together. And the particular vinyl variant that this did come on was this nice red vinyl, which was limited to 100 copies. There was also a white vinyl, which was 100 copies, and there was also a red vinyl, or a white vinyl, which was also 100 copies. This actually ended up getting blocked for sale on Discogs, and I suspect that might be a copyright issue with Dying Fetus or Back on Black, because I think they did a CD reissue in 2022. But nevertheless, it's still a really, really cool thing to have. I would like to see Relapse reissue this at some point for an anniversary down the line. We're coming up on 30 years, so I'm keeping my hopes high that they will eventually do that as some kind of 30th anniversary edition, considering that this hasn't been pressed in about 15 years. So in the meantime, I guess I'll just have to tie this over. Dying Fetus, Killing on Adrenaline. Took me 5 minutes to put this thing back in this flimsy sleeve. This thing sucks. I don't know what label, Bass Record Productions. Get some better PVC sleeves. These things suck. The only reason I'm keeping it is because of this stupid sticker on it. But good grief, man. This thing sucks. Took me 5 minutes to put this thing back in. For this next record, we're going to tie it back to a video that I did not too long ago entitled 10 More Records That I Am in Search Of. I brought up this record and I said that I wanted to see it either officially reissued or bootlegged into oblivion. And hey, I ended up getting my wish for Bootleg Breakdown episode number 4. The bootleg gods have delivered and have granted me Ripping Corpse, Dreaming with the Dead. Released in 1991 on Under One Flag Records, later reissued in 2025 unofficially on Reek of Death Records. Such an absolutely incredible piece of death metal history, featuring one Eric Rutan before he would go on to Morbid Angel and Hate Eternal and Cannibal Corpse fame. This was sort of one of his very first projects. Such an incredible record. I do own an official CD version of this. I know there was also a cassette bootleg of this that I can't find right at this moment. Hopefully we'll bring it up at some point down in the future. But I'm very, very happy to have this on vinyl to some degree. Some awesome tracks on here such as Anti-God, Beyond Humanity, Through the Skin to the Soul, Rift of Hate, and Seduction of the Innocent. Just absolutely incredible. One more time, look at these young lads. And A bunch of these guys would go on to play in a bunch of other groups. I'll put them on screen there as well. The internal gatefold comes with this awesome like full biography of the band, considering they were only around for a handful of years. I'm very, very happy to see this get reissued in some form or fashion. And it's a cool addition to the particular vinyl variant that this came on, was this awesome red transparent edition, which was limited to 300 copies. At first, I did see this get reissued online, and I couldn't exactly find a copy, so I paid a little bit more for this than I would have liked, but I do see the price on this going up in the very, very near future, considering it took them about 17 years for another bootleg to finally come out. I think this is going to start to go up and up and up in price, unless Reek of Death Records just keeps this in print for a while, or until Under One Flag finally decides to use the copyright for the record and actually put it out officially one more time. But in the meantime, this is going to have to do me. Ripping Corpse with Dreaming with the Dead. And for the last record on today's episode, usually I like to end these videos with sort of the grail of each episode, and kind of hold you over a little bit. And I know what you're thinking, Ben. Ripping Corpse, Dreaming with the Dead, you said that was a big release that you were after. You said that is an absolute grail to have in your collection. What could possibly be cooler than that? Well, that is one of the most sought-after death metal records that I'm after. So let's talk about one of the most sought-after black metal records that I'm after, and that I now have on bootleg. This is Weakling with Dead as Dreams, released in 2000, later reissued in 2026 on an unspecified label, but this is just one of the coolest black metal records that's out there, considering that there's only one real official vinyl press for it, and the fact that it fetches upwards of $2,000. I've actually seen an official copy of that. It sold for $600 at a local shop near me. Didn't have the money, unfortunately, so hey. I do know some people that do have this particular record, though, but oh hey, what's that sticking out there? I've got two of them. We're going to get to both of these here in just a second. But I believe these dudes were out of the United States. This was recorded in San Francisco in December of 1998. This isn't the official cover of these. There was a red cover of these. These are both on this kind of purple cover there. The track listing, I know from the CD version and the cassette version, has the order redone. So that's kind of interesting. Very interesting find nonetheless. Very, very nice fan club edition, just with this awesome pictures on the inside of the gatefold here as well. And both of these variants are absolutely incredible, so we'll show you those in just a second. The standard first edition of this is coming on this lovely purple transparent vinyl. There was no limitation on this guy specified, but it is a double LP edition. And as a shocking second edition for this entry on the Bootleg Breakdown, I got the test press. I picked this up from Hell's Headbangers Records. I picked up both of these guys for about 1/10 the highest that the standard edition of this record has ever sold for. Absolutely incredible that I own both of these. I can definitely say from some friends of mine who have told me about this particular bootleg, the quality is 100% there. There are some major differences on both the audio as well as the production standpoint. Again, as you can see, the covers are different, the layouts are different, the track listing is slightly different, but there's a few things about it that aren't exactly a one-to-one, but if you're a black metal collector to even the slightest degree, if you've heard of this record, I highly recommend going out of my way to find a copy if you're able to. I picked this up through Hell's Headbangers Records. I know a couple other distros have them. I will link to probably the best place to find it down in the description below, so in case you do want to find it. The test press, I can assure you, is probably long gone, but in case it isn't, I will leave that down in the description as well, so you guys can go check it out and you can earn a little piece of history, because having a cool test press as well as just a standard bootleg edition for a record that is 25 years out of press is a big deal. So, Weakling, Dead as Dreams. And that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Bootleg Breakdown. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. Leave a comment down below if you know about some bootlegs that are out there in the world that you want me to try to track down, or if you have any comments about these, I would love to read them. We are approaching 230 subscribers. We're going to hit 250 very, very soon. Like, again, I would like to remind you, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave the comments down all below. I read all the comments. Once we hit 250, we're going to be doing our top 10 non-metal records of all time here on the channel. So stay tuned for that. We're going to try to do another episode of Bootleg Breakdown whenever I get a few more records. I think I've got 3 right now, and I'd like to do 5 per episode. So we should hopefully have another episode up sometime probably in the next 4 to 6 months. But in the meantime, I appreciate you sticking around. Stay safe, stay metal, do not submit to tyrants, and I'll see you next time.